Well, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a good Tuesday and your week is off to a good start. I thought I would do a little video showing you one of my favorite books. Uh, I love, give me a second here. I love black and white art, and I love DC putting out these black and white editions of some of their classic work. This is Batman Noir, The Killing Joke. The Killing Joke is that story from Alan Moore and Brian Bolland that came out back in the late 80s. I remember I'm such a dork. I was working at a comic shop at the time, and I bought, I think, two copies when it first came out. So I still have two first prints of the original book. So, ka-ching. But when this black and white edition came out, being the fan of Brian Bolland and art in general that I am, I had to get it so I could pour over Brian's artwork. One thing, now Brian works all digital now. He's been working exclusively digital for, I want to say, at least 15 to 20 years, but don't quote me on that. But I know he's all digital. Back then, though, he was working traditional pen and ink, or I should say brush and ink, because from what I've read, Brian Bolland, at least when it comes to the figure work and stuff, is exclusively or was exclusively a brush inker. So all this beautiful line work is done with brush. And another thing, I read an interview with him, and he said that most of his lighting he would do from upper left. So the light source would always be coming down from the top left-hand corner. Obviously, well, this is actually flipped because I believe on the cut, well, now I don't remember, but this is obviously not from the left. The light's coming from the right-hand side. But I mean, this is just so gorgeous to look through, seeing his gradations in tone that he uses with brush. And then, he gets in cross hatching and more cross hatching to add different gradations, not just somebody like Steve Rude, whose work is very high contrast in regards to not much feathering. It's either white or it's black, and Steve does just a little bit of feathering, whereas Brian gets in here and really does this soft rendering to turn the form. This book came out, let me see what the date is on the print date, 2016. So this came out 5 years ago. I probably picked it up a couple years after that. Whoa, I don't know what happened with my video just then. That was weird. I picked the book up probably about 2 or 3 years ago. But it's just, this book, besides it being just artistically fantastic with Brian's art, his storytelling is just so nice as well. Now, granted, Alan Moore wrote it, and Alan Moore scripts are rather dense from the few I've seen, and the few people that I know that have worked with him have said the same thing. So I thought, you know what, we would just page through this book and just look at it. And if something strikes at me, I would add some commentary. I still will look at this book, even though my style isn't really like Brian Boland's. I'll still pop this book open to look at it just to see how he does certain things. I love his rendition of the Joker. This is just awesome. But you can tell the light source on this is coming from the upper left and coming down on him. I've never met Brian. I would love to talk to him just to ask him, how long it took him to do a page. I mean, I can't imagine him doing more than 3 pages a week at this level of detail that he was doing on this work. Art-wise, this stuff being 30 years old or more, it still holds up. I mean, it's more than 30 years old, because 30 years ago it was 1991. I think this came out in 1989. Maybe it says in the indicia. when the first one came out. Batman the Killing Joke. And there's other stuff in here too. There's a bunch of covers. 1988 is when Batman the Killing Joke came out. And there's work of Brian's in here all the way up till 2015 in the back. They do a cover gallery. There's another short story. I love this. Here's the moment. Barbara falls back, smashes through the coffee table. See, once again, upper left, shadows on the right. Even here, shadows on the right, lights coming from the left, lights coming from the left. I can't remember where I read it, but I did read somewhere that Brian said he lights most of his stuff from the left with shadows casting to the right. You can see it here. I mean, going in and like I discovered Brian Bolland late in my teens. The first artists I discovered were like John Byrne and George Perez. And those guys did, I guess, what you could call just overall generic lighting. They didn't have strong light sources in all their panels. And that's how I learned to draw. So when I draw stuff, I kind of have just an overall general lighting. It's not like, oh, the light source is from this side or from this side. I've done a couple Batman stories, and on the Batman stories I've done, I've tried to go in and add more shadows and stuff and more hard lighting, because when I think of Batman, I think of, shadows and more mystery. But for instance, drawing Superman, I think of more lighthearted stuff. So I don't do strong shadows when I draw like Superman. And when I draw my own First Man stuff, same thing. It's more open. And look at the detail in this cape. I just wonder if he set up reference with like a sheet or something on somebody's back to photograph this to get that type of reference for the wrinkles. And he's trying to drive Jim Gordon crazy here. Scene at the carnival, all the details with these dolls. Even way far in the background, just the sense of this roller coaster back here that's pushed back into the background night. Once again, lighting from the left. Even here, it's lighting from the left, because you can tell by the way the cast shadow goes. I wonder if Brian has any of this artwork left too, the original artwork, or if he sold it all. Right here, these horizontal white lines. This wasn't done with whiteout on the screen. That's a thing called zipatone. And zipatone is generally the dot patterns that you see in the old days that people would cut out and put down. But they also had patterns of white horizontal lines. So you would cut it out onto the original and put it down, and it gives the effect of this being on a TV screen. Whereas now with digital color, you don't have to do that. The colors could take care of that. I mean, his Joker, Brian Bolland stuff is very realistic, but then you have this caricaturized Joker, this very thin neck, just gorgeous. It's got some splatter done here. So I mean, he's pulling out every technique pretty much when he was doing this book. Just the amount of rendering on Batman's face right here to give him that grizzled look. I'll probably start skipping through pages here. I don't know if YouTube would have an issue with me going page by page, but I don't want to take a chance. Oh, and I flipped to one of the great pages, the Batmobile entering the carnival. Even in black and white, you get a sense that these headlights are just beaming bright. And he's got the white going off. I'm assuming he did this with white out, cut through. I'd love to see the original. I can't imagine him inking up to this for each one, but he might have, or he just took white out and did it. But either way, you just get the sense from these headlights that they're just so bright and beaming. You've got the mysterious Batman in the cockpit of the Batmobile. See, I love this panel here. Well, I love this page. I love this shot of the Joker, very evil looking. This shot of Batman. Brian's giving him the longer ears, the rendering on his face. Like you say, he just looks tough and grizzled. This shot where he's tackling the Joker. Once again, the light's coming down from the upper left. And if you break it down into the basic shapes, the light's coming down to where you can tell it's coming from over here. He does his feathering in direction of the light. So this leg has the shadow here. But then if you pull the light source down, this leg is totally in light, except for this little bit here that's catching shadow. And the cast shadows, it's just gorgeous. I love messing around in different artist styles, and this is stuff I would play with when I had the time in my sketchbook, where I would do a drawing and try and go, let me analyze Bolland and pick a light source like he does and just really stick to it. This great little figure here. Here's one instance where it's a little different, where the light's really coming from above with the way the shadow's casting down from his head, but still the feathering is more indicated from up to the left. I would say that Bolland definitely has a definitive version of Batman. This is a great shot, busting through a funhouse mirror. The wrinkles on this are so great. You just, once again, you see where the lighting, he just sticks with that specific light source, upper left. So if you're a fan of comic book art and you're a fan of Batman, I would highly recommend getting this book. This face is so intense. Basically, we're at the end of the story now. This is the end of the Killing Joke. Here, Batman's face isn't rendered as much. He just has a little cast shadow under his nose. And I want to say part of it is because this page, he's kind of telling a joke. It's a little more humorous, not as serious. And maybe he decided not to render up Batman's face as much here to give it a more lighthearted feel. I don't know. I'm just guessing. So we've got the origin of the Joker. This is from the 2000s, just a little two-page origin story they commissioned Bolland to do. But once again, lighting upper left. How do you know? It's the lighting is coming from in front of him and from the left. Look at the cast shadows. The cast shadow on the nose. You know it's in front because if you were to draw a straight line, it hits here and it hits his face here. Straight line here. And that's how you know the lighting is in front, coming from the left. This is another little story from Batman Black and White, I believe. This kid basically wants to kill Batman. Look at this city. This looks like it's right out of from my memory, which could be a little foggy, but really reminds me of the 1989 Batman Gotham City. Batman sitting in his cave. Got the Batmobile, the Penny, the T-Rex, Robin's costume, all the key elements. Once again, he's got that nice lighting going on. Another great effect with the headlights, with this little bit of cross-hatching on the inside of the beams. You get a nice sense of light coming off of him. He's drawing a very old-school Batmobile. Gotta love that. And guys, as you're watching the video, please smash the like button. Leave a comment if you want. That would be awesome. And of course, subscribe to my channel. Share the video. Let other people see this goodness. Look at this gnarly Two-Face. I've drawn Two-Face once, and I can definitely say I didn't get that gnarly. I got gnarly with it in a different way, but just the way he gets into the hair and stuff. The shot of the penguin, these keys. And this, I believe, was done when Brian was doing everything on the computer. So this is all inked digitally. But he created brushes, and the guy's just phenomenal. Man, look at this cape. This penguin. Nobody in real life has a nose like that, but Brian is so good with the realism that when he draws this, you believe that it's real. This face of Batman has been used so many times for different things. Just the look on his face, the way Brian does the big ears, and just the rendering and stuff. And then kabang! Did this dude actually take out the Batman? Look at this. I love this shot and the reflection in the blood with the kid standing over him. And then we zoom in closer. Most guys, and I can under the pressure of deadlines, there's honestly nothing wrong with taking this shot and just blowing it up and statting it here, copying it. But you can tell looking at the inks that this is re-inked. So Brian might have taken this and blown it up to use as the guide for everything, but he re-inked it, and the kid's gone now. So he's in a reflection here. Here he's gone. Look at all these bats. Glorious bats. Bats in the belfry. And then we've got a cover gallery of some of Brian's great covers featuring Batman once again. I just love, lights coming from the left. Love the rendering he does. This is such a great shot. This is very hard angle to draw of a face, and with the Joker especially because of how his big grin, that Cheshire cat grin, wraps around, and he does a phenomenal job, of course, because it's Brian Bolland, of wrapping the mouth, the lips around the teeth. Love this. January 2016, just gorgeous. This is from 2000, so I don't know if this was inked with a brush or digitally, but who cares? I mean, once again, light coming from the left, cast shadow onto the arm. He does his feathering in the direction that the light is coming, so you really get the sense of the light hitting the form. Gorgeous, gorgeous work. Look at the detail. This is from 2000. I'm going to assume this was done digitally. Just the detail in these windows. It's insane. This is a guy that definitely does not have attention deficit disorder because it takes so much discipline to be able to sit down and do this. And speaking on ADHD, because I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, it's very hard to sit down and do this type of stuff. It's very hard to focus. Love this. Nightwing jumping or falling and in the shadow of Batman. So is Batman above him, coming right down after him? I don't know. Love that Nightwing face. Nice poison ivy, the detail in the leaves. Brian is definitely an artist I would love to meet. I love this texture he did on the penny back here. It's underwater. Aquaman, a character you don't usually see or connect with Bolland. I would, God, I'm sure it'll never happen now. Brian's probably mostly retired except for covers, but I would love to have seen Bolland do a Superman story because he just has class, just classic Kurt Swan feel to that figure. Scarecrow. It's just fantastic. Just the wrinkles, the subtlety, using just the brushwork and the fine gradation and cross hatching and feathering to show the slight wrinkles in the coat. Another cover with Superman there, swooping in from Gotham Knights. Just crazy good. Graham Nolan's Bane. How'd you like to create a character and see Brian Bolland's take on it? In other words, I would love to see Brian Bolland draw First Man. That would be awesome. That is so good, though. I just got a text message. I don't know what it's from. Have to check it later. It would be rude to check. Well, I better check it just in case it's my wife. Let me check my text. So while I'm doing that, you guys can look at this art. Nothing important. Look at the detail in this scorpion. The texture he used. I read a thing, the bigger the scorpion, the less dangerous it is. That means this thing's not dangerous at all. And the smaller the scorpion, the more poisonous. So, if that's true, this dude shouldn't be that worried. Look at this, Huntress. Great Batman. Take on the first Batwoman or Batgirl cover. Her running at you. Look at that detail on the Man Bat. Man. It's just gorgeous. Another Bane. Graham Nolan should see if he could get an original Bane from him. But these are probably all done digitally. That dude's creepy. He has beautiful Two-Face. Subtle. I don't know if it picks up on camera, but he's got this subtle reflected light coming in on the eyeball here, which really gives it just that little bit more of dimensionality. That's it. And then one other book I figure I'll go through. I got Ethan Van Sciver sent me a copy of his Cyberfrog coloring book. And you're like, coloring book? Color? What are you going to color in it? No. Once again, it's just beautiful black and white artwork. And Ethan, who I'm pretty sure he would tell you is very influenced by the likes of Brian Bolland, as well as when he first started out, I remember him saying Todd McFarlane and guys like that. But I believe with his line work, you can tell from Ethan's Batman and stuff that he likes Brian Bolland as well. And he does really nice, fine line work. Ethan inks all his stuff, I believe, with microns. The thing I like about this coloring book is it's kind of a time capsule. So it shows older drawings of Cyberfrog, and it goes all the way up to current day. So these aren't dated, but you can just tell from Ethan's style as he's grown as an artist. These are older drawings of Cyberfrog, but you can see the evolution of where his art was going, even experimenting with textures back here. Looks like fingerprints, maybe. Don't know for sure. Salamandroid. This is probably one of the first drawings of Salamandroid from when from the 90s. Hope he doesn't mind me doing a flip through of his book here. These are more recent drawings of the characters, I'd say within the past 3 or 4 years. Got Heather Swain and Cyberfrog. Just the size difference between Salamandroid and Cyberfrog. I just love that. I love how in the shoulder pads here and in all the chrome, Ethan really does reflections of what is in the environment around him, around the characters. When I do metal, I do more of a generic metal reflection to give it a shine. I don't really do the full-on reflections like he does. Like the reflection of Cyberfrog's eye right here and his arm, and looks like some city back there. Really gives nice dimensionality. I love, if you're a fan of Ethan's work, you'll love seeing the contrast between newer Cyberfrog stuff and the older work of his. Here's a page, actually. I believe this page is from Wrecked Planet, the latest Cyberfrog that he's working on right now. So you get a little sneak preview of Wrecked Planet. I'm kind of glad I'm not the colorist, because that's a lot of work there to color. I believe this is from Wrecked Planet as well. Maybe it's Blood Honey. I have Blood Honey, but I haven't looked at. No, it's Wrecked Planet, because that's Heather Swain's daughter. This is from Blood Honey, which I have. When you first see Cyberfrog, you see the reflection of the woods and stuff in the vehicle in front of Cyberfrog. Just so cool. This is Wrecked Planet, I believe. And just a very cool pinup shot here. He does not skimp on detail, that's for sure. There's Miss Heather Swain. And they're hugging it out. But look at that detail and the reflection. And a shot from 1994. So there you go. There's that. Of course, I got to do my due diligence and end the video talking about First Man, my book. You've got the graphic novel here on the right. You've got the program book on the left. The program book has such goodies as you get to see different artists' renditions of First Man by some of the superstars in the industry. So that is wicked cool stuff. And I'm just going to flip through it. I want to show everything. You've got a pinup in the middle of the book that if you want to pop the staples, you could pull out and hang on your wall. Then there's sketches of mine of First Man, animation type style. There's page layouts, model sheets, so different things behind the scenes making a First Man here. And we've got the graphic novel here, 64 pages, square bound, so it would look nice on your bookshelf. Nice heavy stock. Look at me introducing the story. Great story, great art. If you're a fan of superhero comics, you're going to love First Man. It's everything I love about superhero comics. No BS, just good, fun superhero action story. Luke Henry is a college kid who gets imbued with this power from another world. And Monarch, I don't want to give everything away. Monarch, the big bad guy here, comes to Earth looking to get the power back. Penumbra has a special tie to the power, so she works into the story. We've got a parody hostess ad, an origin page, bio pages of the characters, a la the Marvel Universe, because I loved those as a kid. So you definitely want to check it out. Oh, there's the last page. Can't show that. Spoiler alert. So if you haven't backed First Man, please give it a back. I'm going to add a link to the campaign in the description of this video. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. And I will catch you guys next time. And with my pretty face, thanks for joining me, guys. Like and subscribe to my channel. Share it out. Let the world know. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.